Welcome to the Shit Creek Survivor Show, where we one openly share our personal stories of getting stuck up our own shit creek without a paddle, the good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing, but most importantly, share and celebrate how we got out so we have more tools for the tool belt, right? For you not familiar with the term stuck up shit creek without a paddle, it refers to times and places in life where we ended up in circumstances we never believed we'd be in, but we did, and then somehow we got out. Great. Let's share how we did it, right? So, Shit Creek Survivors is about sharing stories, finding support, and realizing that even when things feel like a total mess, there is always a way forward. I'm joined once again by my friend and former police patrol partner, Dennis Kaufman. How we doing today, Dennis?
That's me. I'm doing well,
That's
brother. How you
you.
doing?
I am doing well. I am so happy to be getting together with you because we released our first 8 episodes, and I personally, and I know Dennis wanted to say as well, wanted to say thank you.
Thank you very much for
Thank,
watching and sharing. Yes.
thank you so much for watching and sharing. There's been such positive feedback about what people have been hearing and how it parallels stories that they've been experiencing in their own lives and how, they're starting to make moves towards handling those potential issues they had in life or are having now, their own shit creeks, and how they're, starting to move forward knowing that there's other people going through the same shit, right?
Yes. Lots of affirmation and lots of people. Yeah, lots of positive feedback. There was one kind of negative one comment, I guess, but it is what it is. We're gonna get those. What did you say when we first started? What did we say when we first started this? I'm sorry, I can't talk. We just wanted to be able to help at least one person. We wanted to vent ourselves and feel better about our situations and improve our lives as best we can as friends. Just talking like we were back in the patrol car again. And we're bringing a couple people along with us. I mean, I've gotten probably at least 12, 15 messages from friends that are like, man, some of the messages are resonating with me and are inspiring me to try to want to share my story somehow to other people. And even one or two saying that they want to possibly come on the podcast and tell their story. So good news for the future. We're going to keep moving forward and keep trying to reach people that need the help and need to feel connected and feel like, we're not experts. We're not doctors. We're not here to tell you all the answers. We're here to tell you some of the things that we've gone through and some of the things that have helped us. And if it helps you, it's a win.
There we go. We're just willing to share our story so that other people can gain from it. It's pretty amazing how you can turn something that could be initially viewed as something that's meant to destroy you, and it turns out to be something that improves you, empowers you. I mean, I got shot in the face. No one wants to get shot in the face, right? But that was the catalyst to so much change in my life that I know without that injury, I wouldn't be where I am now. And what I'm
Good.
most proud about now is being more free, like being more confident in myself, seeing that I'm moving forward, seeing that, by sharing the story, it's actually helping other people, and that when people share their own stories of going through something, it is so empowering to people who are going through it at the same time. And it also allows you, when you share your story, to feel empowered that, what you went through was meant for something. And it's just kind of amazing. Um,
It's hard to explain. You kind of have to feel it. You kind of have to go. You have to experience it to really understand the explanations. And we want to understand everybody's, other people's stories and how they've gotten through things too. Because we
absolutely.
need more tools for our toolbox. We're not dead yet. We're going to have other troubling times. We're going to have other hardships.
For
Hopefully, we
sure. And
navigate them a little bit easier.
yeah, and it's clarification of our mission. Like our mission is to share that everyone not only can be resilient, but that everyone is resilient. We're all
Yes.
going through something. And what I want to encourage everyone to do is never compare your creek really to others, because sometimes you believe that your story isn't big enough to be having the feelings that you're
Yes.
having. That's not true. Okay. We're going through it. We're here as a community. We're not saying you're welcome, you're not welcome. Everyone's welcome because we're all going through it. And if you're willing to take your worst moment and look at it as an opportunity for growth and to share it with others so that they can grow, that is huge.
Well, that's love.
That's love. Yeah.
That's love. That's love for your fellow man.
And sometimes you forget that you have survived 100% of your worst days. You have. It feels like those days never ended sometimes, but you have survived them, and you should be proud of that. I mean, even that you made it to the end of the day on some days, you're just like, oh my
Even
gosh, it's
even
over.
if you just organize that sock drawer, Jordan Peterson said, you're making a step in the right direction. Just keep making the steps in the right direction. And I want to stay on this point for just a little bit longer before we move on, because we did have a comment from somebody, and I apologize, I do not know their name. I know it was a female. I read just a little bit of it, but it was a really long text message. And the first thing that it was said was she was diagnosed with PTSD, but didn't feel like she deserved it because she wasn't, in the military or a first responder. And that's where Cameron's trying to clarify our mission. We're not comparing our shit creeks. We're not comparing our trauma. Don't do it to yourself. Don't be your worst critic. We are our own worst critic sometimes. And I'm apologizing to that person individually because they ended up taking that message down before I had a chance to really read it or to respond to them. We love you. You are loved. And if something happens to you, you will be missed. You are needed here. You have a purpose here. Be resilient. Rely on yourself, love others, keep growing, moving forward, and get through this battle that you're going through. I don't care what it was. It doesn't matter. Your trauma is real and you feel it. So now resiliently get through it.
Yeah. So, like a quick example of that, if we do want to talk about PTSD, and again, that's just one example of a story is like PTSD and how it showed up in my life and how alcoholism showed up in my life. But even with PTSD, yes, I was a police officer and I got shot, but anybody can have PTSD. You just have to be exposed to an extreme event where you felt basically extreme emotions of fear and dread that you were soon going to die, pretty much. That could be experienced when
Yeah.
you get shot. That could be experienced in a car accident. That could be experienced as a child if you witnessed someone being injured in front of you and you had no
Yeah.
control over it. It could happen as an adult if you saw someone get injured. It could happen in anything.
There's a lot of different variables, that whole globe of variables that we'll get to talk about one of these days.
Yeah.
There's perspectives from other all around, and you sit around from your perspective and know that you're the only right one or it's only your way. Somebody on the complete opposite side of that globe or that circle on a 180-degree difference from you is having their struggles too, and they are very real, and you can't belittle them or take it away from them because it's there. All you can do is love them and support them, help them get through it the best that you can. And don't and so important. Don't compare the traumas. Don't compare yours to ours. Don't compare ours to somebody else's. Trauma's trauma.
What brings us together is not the fact that we have trauma, really. It's the fact that we're working through it. That's what
Yes,
brings us together. So we
we're
all
moving
have an
forward.
issue. We're all trying to move forward. And the fact that we're all doing it together gives us a sense that we're not alone because we're not, right?
And
So,
help.
yeah. So don't compare
100% help.
your story. The only thing that matters is that you're going through something. That's all it is. This is all for you.
All for
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, all for love. We're just two bros talking, if you will. And
Yep.
a lot of times you don't see dudes talking about this kind of stuff. Like you just don't, you know what I mean? Like I grew
The
up my
stigma.
yeah, I
The
grew up my
stigma.
whole
We're
life.
tough men. We're not supposed to show emotions. We're not supposed to cry. We're not all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We've heard it since day one.
All that stuff. But the truth is we're all having these emotions, but we're having them behind the scenes. So all we're doing is talking about it in front of people. And that way they can know that I keep saying it. I keep looping on, you're not alone, you're not alone. And it seems so like
Maybe it needs to be
cliche.
said more. Maybe it needs to be said more because somebody's not hearing it yet.
Yeah, I mean,
If you're not hearing it yet, you're not alone. Okay? You're
yeah,
not alone.
absolutely.
Everybody goes
Now,
through this stuff.
and another thing I wanted to clarify, if I could, okay, with my alcoholism, I had to go into the AA program. Like that's what I needed to do to get healthy, right? That was my path, right? And other people may have other paths through it. But in AA, we use the term higher power. And again, I wanted to clarify what that was. When I got into AA, I was so out of control that I couldn't rely on myself, but I was so untrusting that I couldn't rely on other humans. I was just kind of in a whirlwind. So, what AA proposes is thinking of or trying to find an outside power other than yourself that is also working in the universe. Okay. And what that does, and we talked about it previously for a little bit, my higher power was a chair. Okay. Because my
Yeah, I
one
like how you
thought
said
every,
that. I
yeah,
remember
my
you
one
saying that
thought,
part of it, like if you don't want to believe in God, at least believe in the chair next to you, because that chair is making better decisions than you are. That's
and
how
it
you said it the
was,
first time, and that I
yeah,
mean that resonated with me a little bit. I hear that. I hope that resonates with somebody else too. We're not trying to
yeah,
be preachy. We're not trying to be a religious play. I mean, we have our beliefs, and it is founded in Christianity. But we're not saying we're not here to stand on the pulpit and tell you it has to be anything other than the chair. As long as you have as long as it's founded in good moral principles and love,
mhm,
you know.
yeah,
So that's how you're gonna reflect love on yourself. So you can see the love in yourself. That's how you're gonna reflect love on other people when they're going through things.
yeah.
So just focus on love.
That's a good point, loving yourself. That's kind of like the higher power too, because a lot of
Yeah.
times, especially like when I got into AA and like I was going through my shit creek and it felt like my whole life I was in a hole that was collapsing in on me. I was so toxic, but I knew that I couldn't get out of this situation on my own, that being controlling my drinking, that I had to at least take the chance because alcohol was going to kill me. So I was given the gift of like, fine, I'll try anything, desperation. And
The
okay,
gift
the
of
chair, whatever.
desperation.
You know what I mean? Just like the chair, fine, whatever you say, like I'll just do it. But eventually that chair developed into something else, because originally it was like literally, should I drink today? Look at the chair has the sense to say no because I know inside that I shouldn't drink, right? But I needed an outside force, a higher power to kind of like solidify that in me and hold me to account, kind of sort of like an accountability partner.
Yeah.
And so that was the chair for a little bit, and that developed into more of a higher power, which then kind of sort of like meshed with the way I was raised and spirituality, the way it happened for me. So, long story short, what I'm trying to say is like that's the way my higher power was developed. If you are trying to develop some sort of a higher power, but you're having a lot of challenges, whether it be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know what's going on, but cracking the door to a higher power helped me, and it helped me kind of stay focused on what I needed to be doing on a daily basis. And it was one day at a time, not drinking, and the higher power helped me. So I started opening the door a little bit more to like where else could that show up in my life, and I started working the program, and eventually I was sober, and I couldn't believe it. It was like a miracle. And yeah, and a higher power works. So why wouldn't I share that with you guys, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is we did receive a couple comments about the name Shit Creek Survivors and how that might be a little, what am I trying to say?
Maybe harsh. I know. At least one of the criticisms came from somebody who's you know, deep into religious and they don't want to cuss and they don't like cuss words probably. And it's probably coming from that place. It's not coming from bad places. It's just they see it and it turns them off from it a little bit because it's a cuss word, I guess. But I think it's I don't I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing personally, but I get it and I don't want to belittle anybody else's opinion by telling them that they're
Right.
wrong because I don't like the idea of judging somebody for their opinions. I don't think we should judge people.
Not at all. I just wanted to, if anything, clarify what the intent was with the name. And
Exactly.
so the intent with the name is not to appeal to the masses. This is not for everybody. Okay, especially like if you've already figured out this is, whether you're involved in a particular religion or creed or whatever it is, you're already in the boat, if you will. You're already on
Yeah.
your way. What we're trying to do is find the people like me, find the people like you, Dennis, who are actually still in the weeds, who
Yeah.
are fighting their own battle alone, and who don't sometimes believe they deserve any help. And we're trying to find the person who's struggling. We're trying to find the lost. If you want to break it down to the classic thing, we're not looking for the flock. The flock's already doing their own thing. We're looking for the lost sheep, the ones
Okay.
like me, the
I
ones who
get
are
that.
like this isn't for me. You guys can do whatever you want with your life. I'll do my thing. And I was just totally just out there on my own. And it wasn't working, but I almost refused to admit that my own ways weren't working. So it eventually, you know what I
That
mean?
ego,
It's like
that ego comes
we're the
back and gets you.
so we're looking for the people with the ego, the hard head, the dum dums like me, the ones who just refused to believe for the longest time, believed that I could do it on my own, and I just didn't kind of,
They're
eventually
they're
came.
feeling 2 o'clock in the morning. They're feeling like they're up shit creek without a paddle. They're feeling lost. They're rolling through the Facebook reels and they see shit creek survivors and they hit play. And all of a sudden something starts resonating with them and they start going, oh man, I felt that way. Um, I feel that way. They got through it. Maybe I can't. Maybe my way isn't the only way. I don't know, but I get it because it's right there and it's exactly what what you're wanting to say and share. I was up shit creek. How did I get out of there?
Yeah.
And that's what you're
And
appealing to, somebody feeling that way.
yeah. And then what's funny is like I'm learning that once you get out of that shit creek and you're like, okay, finally life's in order, there's going to be another one. There's
Yeah.
going to be something else in life that comes up, and that's okay. You're not being picked on. You know what I mean? It's like
It feels
it
like it sometimes though, doesn't it?
it does to the point, to the point, if we want to go super serious, to the point where you're like, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to play anymore. I'm over it. That's on the dark times, and there's certain parts of the day when you're just like, you know what? Screw this day. Just I don't even want a part of this day anymore.
I don't want to people today, so I'm going to stay at home, watch
Yeah.
TV, read a book, play a video game, something like that. I don't want to people today. I have a lot of those days. I have a lot of those
Yeah.
days. And then,
That's
like,
a
you get out for whatever reason, all of a sudden, it's like people can't drive, they're cutting you off, somebody honks their horn at you, somebody flips you off, or something like, what? Is it, is it me? Is it really me?
mm,
No, it's just that's where your mindset's at. You're thinking negatively, you're focusing on the negative in your life, and then that's what you're going to start seeing all around you is the negativity. And I promise you, if you start focusing on the positives in your life, because you have some, you woke up, you're breathing, those are positive. Focus on those positives and focus on love. And when you start driving around, you're going to see more love and kindness from people around you because that's what you're feeling in your heart. Love generates more love. Hate generates more hate. And so you have that control. You control that. You can. It's not easy.
yeah. And I,
Might be
I
a lot. You
really
give
like
good advice, but I can't take it.
what I know. That's why we're doing this because I need to learn from you, and
But we got to learn
somehow,
from each other. Everybody. We
yeah.
can learn from people watching when they respond. We're learning. We're always learning. Yeah, I just shared a quote the other day. Like, what was it? If you know what you want to be and you know what you want to know, eventually you will get it, and that'll be your punishment. And if you wake up every day unsure of who you are or what you want to know or what you know, then you'll end up nothing, and that'll be your reward. And when I first read that, I go, nothing sounds negative. I'll be nothing? No, I won't be pigeonholed into one topic or another. I won't be just a police officer. I won't be just this. I won't know just this perspective. I will instead be open to other perspectives and open to learning other people's perspectives. I don't have to agree with them, but I can understand them. And that's coming from a place of love. And I was like, man, that's really kind of good. That's really kind of deep. And I like that.
Like that a lot. That's
Don't
really
be
good.
comfortable. Keep learning.
Yeah, it kind of like it made me think of you hear of all these people who, decide they're going to be, celebrities or they're going to like make their dreams come true. They're going to be the singers, they're going to be the actors, they're going to be the billionaires and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, they get all the things that they thought they wanted.
And look at them. It seems like they lose their sense of reality in some cases, doesn't it?
I think
Like
it's
they
because
think they can't relate to the common person anymore because they've completely gone exactly to what they wanted to be, what they were focusing on. And now they're one-sided on their perspectives, or more
yeah,
one-sided on their perspectives. It seems
yeah.
like that way. And again, I'm not trying to judge anybody.
And it also seems like when these people get everything that they thought would make them happy, it doesn't.
Yeah. No.
So then they're like, I believe, totally deflated because everything they sacrificed for, everything, they compromised, all those things results in not getting the feeling that they thought they would. And then they kind of start thinking, well, what was this for? Like,
I mean,
I
some cliches are cliches for a reason. You can't take it with you when you die.
yeah,
Money is the root of all evil. Some of these things have some foundation in truth, and man, you can say it and say you believe it, but once you really feel it, then you really get it. Like I was saying earlier, I mean, I can explain things to you, but I can't understand it for you. You have to
yeah,
understand it. And the only way to do that is to be open to other perspectives, to keep learning. Seek and you shall find. And just focus on the foundation of love first and try to be better. And take one step at a time and get through the fog, get out of shit creek, get through the problem, get through the trauma, get through the struggles. And know that everybody copes with those traumas differently. Everybody understands them differently. Everybody has their own timelines. Really, the timeline is there's only one flaw to the timeline: is going through it too fast or going through it too long. Whatever just right is for you is going to be just right for you. But you can't
yeah,
just blow off the trouble and like it's nothing and just start, keep going forward like nothing, because now you're repressing things and it's going to come back later. And you can't stay in it too long, because then you're not really living. The whole life, your whole time is just grief and sorrow and depression. So you got to get through it at some point. And I learned that one after IED in Iraq. That was one of the first things the counselors said to us. You're going to have nightmares about it. It's going to come back. You're going to think about it. You're going to what if it to death. Like, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. All those things are going to be normal trauma responses that you're trying to cope, your coping mechanisms. We're trying to get through it. Where it becomes a problem is now it's 15 years later. I do still have the dreams every once in a while. And I've been drinking so much to try to just hide it and cope with it and self-medicate. So
right,
obviously, I've let some things of it go on too far, and that's one of my struggles that I'm constantly dealing with on a daily basis. And it's not easy. I mean, I'm giving some good advice here. I know it because I feel it, but I can't take it as well as I can give it. And that's because of another thing I heard that I shared recently that I thought was great. The apple tree and the orange trees, they don't eat the apples and the oranges. Their gifts aren't for them. So your gift isn't for you and my gift isn't for me. We're meant to bear the fruit so other people who are walking by can grab it and sample it and taste it and get, the right advice that they needed to get and hear the right words that they needed to hear just at that moment. And so we have to rely on each other. And that brings me to another one I have to share it as well, because it's the same storyline of it. And it's a pastor that I had in Topeka, Kansas, Pastor Meyer. So long ago, I'm sure he's passed on by now. He was already pretty old back then. But he talked about doing missionaries in somewhere in the Orient, Taiwan or Japan. I don't remember where exactly, but he said that their definitions of heaven and hell were basically the same. A big gourmet table full of food surrounded by all your family and friends, but the only thing to eat it with were these really long chopsticks. So in hell, it's all frustration and hunger because you can't reach your mouth with chopsticks. But in heaven, it's all joy and sharing because you're using the chopsticks to pick up the food and feed your neighbor across the table.
that's good.
Love that. I love it.
That's really good.
Doesn't it just gave me goosebumps. Like, don't think
Yeah,
about yourself. Don't look inwardly. Look outwardly. Help others. That's your goal. Share your fruit with other people. Somebody else will share their fruit with you.
yeah. I heard a quote one time. It's like, plant trees whose shade you never plan to sit on.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, those are
All these things are founded in love. Loving somebody, loving other people, just caring about them, wanting them to be better, wanting them to succeed. I don't want to be jealous of your success. I want to join your success and enjoy it with you and see you enjoy it.
hmm
What TV shows do you like the most? Probably things like Extreme Home Makeover, things where you see joy in people, pure
yeah,
human joy. Doesn't that just make you happier?
yeah.
Because love multiplies. Love fosters love. Stay in love. Keep sharing love.
I'm with
You're
you,
not
and it
alone, and share love. So those are things we can't say enough on the
yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to make that decision. It's easy to make that decision when you're having a conversation about it. You're like, from here on out, I'm going to push forward with love. Today's the day.
Right.
And then I'll get in the car and I'm just like,
You stub your toe on, yeah, you stub your toe on the bed nightstand as you're walking by, and then you slip on something and then next thing you know you're cussing and you're angry and you're just thinking about, why do you hate me? Why is everything going wrong? Why is the world against me? It just snowballs and gets bigger and bigger. You have to
my
stop it. Make the decision to stop it. You know it's not personal. You know it's not you.
yeah. One
Shake
of
it off
my
and
like
move forward.
my goals right now is when I get into those moments, where my brain wants to go ballistic and it's just being still, which seems pretty simple, but for someone where their head's going wow, wow, whoa, boom, boom, just to be able to like have a moment and like just
Yeah.
be still is a huge accomplishment. So anyone out there, if you can just focus on just having a moment before you react to a situation, freedom. Because the one thing it did for me was it stopped me resenting myself for my reactions, because my reactions were not good. You know what I mean? Every time I try to trust my reaction, now's the time to yell, now's the time to put this person in their place, now's the time
Hmm.
to act in hate. It always resulted in later on me feeling like shit.
Yeah. Because it's not a good place to be. Hate's not a good place to live in.
No, and it's so
Despair.
counterintuitive.
Yeah. All of
Yeah,
it.
because I was going around for a long time looking for the right person to line up. You know what I mean? Like, if you've checked all the boxes, if you've somehow you hurt me or my family, if you've, tried to compromise, my integrity, my family's integrity, all this kinds of stuff, you checked all the boxes. That means I was ready to come for you. I was ready to put
Right.
you in your place. And every time that happened, I did it. I was like, now's the time. And then and then it just collapsed on me. There's so hollow. There's nothing solid in trying to cut someone down to make yourself feel better in the moment. Like
Right.
there's nothing solid to that. There's no good feeling. There's no sense of accomplishment. There's nothing you can put in your pocket. It's just I lost control, to tell you the truth, on somebody. It wasn't,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry to anyone that I who experienced that with me. But
Yeah. Same
I,
here. I mean, I've gone off the handle at people before too.
yeah,
You know,
we're not perfect.
they're going through something. You're going through something. Again, just count to 10 and try to choose kindness. Another cliche, count to 10 before you say anything, stuff like that. Or do unto others as you want to have done unto you, the golden rule. The cliches just keep coming to my mind here and there. I'll just let them out
And,
as
and
they
it's
do.
and it's because we're really trying to sum up what's happened in the last like 8 episodes. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just been such a positive thing. Personally, it's scary to put your story out there. It is, and I decided to put it all out there.
Yeah, you did.
And it's helping people, so I feel good about it. And I hope that it empowers someone else to take their story and share it with somebody else. It doesn't have to be on here, but someone else who needs to hear it so that they can move forward in their life. We're just trying to sum up the whole idea here. It's all come down to you have to choose sometime between love and hate and how you're going to show up in your day. I know sometimes it feels like the world is against us, but sometimes we have to go out into it knowing that regardless of what's going to happen today, I'm going to meet it with positivity instead of looking for the person to cut down, instead of looking for the opportunity to put someone in their place. Just get through the day. Be that bit of grace for somebody else when they need it, when someone's done something and it was wrong or that it was dumb that they did it. Just smile on them with a little bit of grace, the same way you wish that they would smile on you if you were going through the same
Yeah.
situation.
Feed that good wolf. Don't feed the bad wolf. Feed the love.
Yeah,
Don't feed the hate.
absolutely. And what we're going to do moving forward is we've got a couple people lined up to come on. One is a former colleague who went through some stuff. I'm really excited to get her on. And then we've also got a resiliency coach coming on for you guys who's going to
Yeah.
help us kind of understand from her perspective what resiliency is and how to implement it in your own lives and daily activities.
And she should be a good guest because she has some more resources than she actually has more training on this than we do. We're just talking about events that we've seen or heard or felt. She's actually got some
Absolutely.
training to tell us, what parts of we're saying is right, what parts we're saying is wrong, I guess. I know it would be interesting to see how much she supports us or how she helps not necessarily correct us, but just keep us guided in the right direction. Make sure the
Yeah,
wind
we're
in our
not
sails are blowing us the right direction.
Yeah, we're not claiming to be the end all know all. I'm just a dum dum who decided to share his story so that other people might kind of go, oh, that sort of sounds like something that happened to me. And
And I've got a family member that wants to get on. So we're gonna try to figure out a date for her and get more into that when it gets more confirmed. So there's three right now that we've got pretty much lined up.
yeah.
Anybody else want to join in? Text us, leave a comment. Let's get it going.
Yeah. So you can reach us at shitcreekpodcast@gmail.com. You can check out our website, www.shitcreeksurvivors.com. It is still under construction, but we're working on that to make sure all the episodes are on it and ready for you guys to access and share with other people. You can follow us on social media through Facebook and Instagram at SHT Creek Survivors, and or follow me personally, Cameron.mckay.38 on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us for
Spotify,
season.
YouTube.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Spotify, YouTube.
YouTube has the exclamation mark for the I, because if you do
Yeah,
the just SHT, you'll get a whole nother podcast.
sorry about that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
on YouTube it is the SA explanation mark T Creek Survivors, and that will get you to the latest updates we have going on. I'm trying to put a bunch of shorts on there so that way we can get some cool topics and cool points kind of on a daily basis out to individuals. But please check out the whole episode when we put them out again on YouTube and Spotify at this point. And
Like and subscribe, get it moving forward. The more you like it and subscribe it and share it, the more other people can see it, and it can reach more people, and it can
yeah,
impact more people. So do your part that way, if nothing else. Even if you don't agree with what we're saying, you can at least agree that love is a good message to share, and you should be able to at least agree that it could help somebody if it doesn't not going to help you. So share it so it can reach somebody that it can help that maybe otherwise wouldn't have seen it.
yeah. Or if you're interested in a particular topic, let us know, and
Yeah.
we can either discuss it personally, and we can also bring in outside resources, like we're bringing the coach in, so that way we can actually get firsthand advice from individuals who've been professionally trained in it. We're pretty much the patients. We need to bring in the doctors sometimes to kind of point us in the right direction, right? And besides all that, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Dennis, for joining me on this journey. We're doing this together. And
Thank you, Cameron, for inviting me and letting me come along with this. Thank you very much for sharing your story. That took a lot of courage. I
for you
applaud you
too.
for it. I've got plenty more I could probably share as well. It is what it is. I just want to. I just hope we keep sharing the message. Love. You're not alone. Be kind. Everybody's going through something. Let's promote love. Let's promote goodness. Let's promote healing and wellness and happiness.
Somehow we ended up being those guys. So I guess we're just going to do
I guess it is what it is. It goes somewhere.
it.
I mean, it's going somewhere. It has. It already has helped people. So I mean, we're playing with house money now. We've already helped somebody, and we just want to help some more people.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. Well, as we finish up, again, I just want to say thank you. I love you, Dennis, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Next time. Peace
All
out.
right, bye.